Hello and welcome to the Armchair Pundits Man United post-match review show. It's your boy Mons, and I'm here to just discuss the world of United at the moment, the turmoil. And before we get into this, make sure you follow us on all our socials, on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter or X. You'll see the link there. Make sure you click the like button, make sure you click subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you guys here every week. United were away this week at Brentford Stadium. More of the same, really. I think this is our eighth away loss. It's another game that could have left us totally embarrassed from the way that we performed. But yeah, another loss under United's belt. Another loss for Amorim to excuse. I suppose let me just get into it. Man United set up in a what now is traditional 3-4-3. With Binder at the back, Maguire, De Ligt and Shaw in the back three. Maguire being the central of the three. You got Dorgu and you got Dalot left and right side wing backs. You got Ugarte and Fernandes in the central midfield deep line. And obviously Ugarte's been put in that position now because Casemiro got his red card later on, his silly red card last week against Chelsea. And then we had the front three of Šeško, Mbeumo and Cunha. It's the first time Mbeumo's gone back to Brentford, obviously, because we just bought him in summer. So I'm not going to lie, I was hoping that he might get a slight brace or, he might be really effective today. From what I remember, this is the first official time that Cunha, Mbeumo and Šeško have started together. So you can only hope for good things, right? Wrong. Man United didn't start well at all. We played about with the ball, obviously, moving it around, tried to assert our dominance from the jump. But when Cunha picks up the ball in the attacking third, loses it, and the transition is one ball over the top to, I think it's Igor Thiago. I believe it's Igor. It's him versus Maguire in a foot race. Now, instead of Maguire holding the line, he tries to jump forward knowing that he was sitting too deep. And Igor runs in on goal and absolutely slams the ball in the top of Binder's net. So United are 1-0 down 8 minutes in. I'm already rolling my eyes at the back of my head because defensively that was horrible. I'm in my mind also. I'm also thinking to myself, De Ligt would probably do better in the central position against a player like this who's quite quick, very physical, and very athletic. I've always said it that Maguire, he moves almost like a 16-wheel lorry. He doesn't move very quickly. He's not as mobile. So if you're going to have him in a central position in the three at the back, he needs to not be exposed in a 1v1 situation, which obviously he had that 8 minutes in. Really good ball from Henderson over the top, to be quite fair. And Thiago put it away. Do I think that Binder should have done better? Yeah. I think every goal he's conceded, he should have done better. To be honest, I don't think he's a great keeper at all. At best, he's a number two, and I don't even think he's too much of that, really. I do feel like today was a day to maybe test out Lemens. I feel like he would have probably done better, at least with, 2 of the 3 goals that we conceded, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. Now, when you concede earlier on away from home and you'd arguably be considered the better side, you'd like to think that you'd be putting your best foot forward, you're starting with the ball, let's go get them. 15 minutes later, ridiculous. Much of the same. Thiago gets a borderline tap-in. And some good work down the wing from, I think it was Sade. He takes a shot, any which way. He puts the ball across goal or he takes a shot, whichever way you want to call it. Binder gets his hand on it. Now, I don't know whether Binder should have just left it or at least try to parry it away from goal, not parry it into the centre of the midfield, centre of the box. Now, that to me just gave me some real PTSD from seeing Onana doing the same foolishness late most of part of last season and summer pre-season, to be fair. But him parrying it into the middle of the box, their striker was there to pick up the scraps. And he had a borderline tap-in. 2-0 Brentford, 20 minutes to go, and United hadn't even got out of gear 1. Now, thankfully, after that, we got a bit of a lifeline where we had a ball put into the box. Mbeumo's gone to challenge the keeper, not fouled him, which is good. It was a very fair challenge, and I'm glad VAR didn't step in to get it or give it the other way. He challenges, I think it's Kelleher they got in goal. Kelleher makes a hash of it. The ball drops down. Šeško has 2 cracks at the whip. One is a header. The keeper saves it. The other one, he hits it with his left boot and puts it basically through the net. puts his foot right through it. That's 2-1 United with 26 minutes in. Now, for a neutral, this game is electric. But at no point up until now did I see any real transitions with the ball, any real build-up, 3-4 passes. United was second to everything. We didn't have any kind of consistent amount of ball at any point during the first half hour of this game. So I knew that, we haven't raised our level. We're playing how Brentford want us to play. And if we don't get control of this game, it could easily get worse. Now, there wasn't much else that happened in the first half, to be quite honest to you. United didn't really look like, even after getting, pulling a goal back, that we were actually going to try and nick another goal before first half. Imagine I'm saying nick another goal against Brentford. It's just ridiculous. But we're going to try and nick another goal before half time to try and go in on the break and, galvanise the boys to come out and really get going. Nothing like that. Nothing at all. So we go into half time. We come out. There wasn't no changes straight away. We did make a couple of changes around about the 65th to the 70th minute. We took off Ugarte and put Maino on, and we took off Maguire and put Euro on. Now, I do think Euro should have started today. I do feel like it should have been a Shaw, Euro, and De Ligt back three. And having Ugarte come on and having Ugarte come off for Maino, it gave me the confidence that maybe Amorim can see that we need someone that's a little bit better with the ball under pressure, because Ugarte is not that. And he didn't have his greatest performance today. So Mainu coming on I think it would have lit up most of Man United's fans' eyes to see that, we might get something out of it. And to be honest with you, I think he needs to be freed anyway. I think he needs way more game time. We looked way more positive for the first, say, 5 or 10 minutes of the changes, to the point where we created ourselves an opportunity. Ball gets whipped in across the box. Mbumo goes to get a tap in, pretty much. He gets pulled back by the defender, who arguably was the last man, and it was in Dogzo, definitely denying a goal-scoring opportunity. United get awarded a penalty, but for some reason, the defender gets a yellow card. Now, for me, that moment there, we get a penalty, that defender gets a red card. Because if you're denying a goal-scoring opportunity, that means you get early shower, mate. You need to get walking. The VAR, for me, bottled it. They took so long to decide, probably around about 5 or 6 minutes to decide on the penalty, and, well, not so much the penalty, but more so the decision on what's happening with the defender. And I believe that VAR definitely bottled it today. So that will definitely be something I'll talk about with the boys tomorrow when we do our weekly rundown of the weekend's football. Captain Clutch steps up, Captain Bruno. I'm thinking this is 2-1, and then we go on and win the game. Man United have done it loads of times, and it would have been nice to get a back-to-back win on the back of the Chelsea game that they had last week. Bruno steps up, not a chance. What a poor penalty. Kelleher does this the right way, and it's 2-1 United still. This is the second penalty I believe Bruno has missed this season. He hasn't missed that many penalties in I don't know how long, but you got to slot it. As a skipper, when you got an opportunity at 2-1 to make the difference from the spot, you got to slap it, put it right in the back of the net. The run-up was poor, the purchase on the ball was poor, and obviously, he didn't really give the keeper the eyes. So at 2-1, and we have 15 minutes to go, I couldn't really see where else we would be getting another opportunity from. I wasn't confident that we would even draw this game at this point, because we looked really lethargic. There was no real cohesion in the team, and yeah, I just couldn't see it. We kick on. Shaw comes off, Mount comes on, Ogu comes off, Xerxes comes on. So Amorim is going for it. He's got probably the most attacking, all of our attackers on pretty much, and we still look very average. The ball was up in the air more than it was on the ground. We weren't even winning the balls up there, although we had a lot of our tall players on the pitch, and it just didn't look Man United-esque. It doesn't look like even the players have belief in getting a result out of this game. It was almost like they gave up. And if I'm honest, it's really quite disheartening to see, because there was a lot of walking around going on the pitch as well. People were losing the ball and weren't really hustling to get back. I don't know if that was lack of energy or just through they're not convinced on what Amorim's trying to deliver or wanting the squad to deliver. So it approaches 90 minutes. Thiago comes off for Brentford. They bring on Jensen. 5 minutes later, He's in on goal. Brentford are 3-2. And Jensen puts it down the middle of the goal. And Bayende looks so far away from the ball, it's unreal. Again, trauma. The game ends 3-1. Could it have been worse? I don't really know. They did have a couple of near misses from corners and, Bayende flapping. Genuinely, I feel like 3-1 was probably the true reflection of the game. I don't think we deserve to score more than one goal. And I don't believe the players really stood up today. I don't feel like they even wanted to get a result out of this game from what I could see. Brentford pressed us really early. They exploited all our gaps. They punished all the mistakes that we had, especially the first two that we made. They were made more organised than us. They were more clinical in front of goal. United just looked very disjointed. The defensive line was poor. There wasn't really no cohesion there. The transitions from us losing the ball to us having to defend, there was just not enough energy in it. And yeah, the list could go on. I'm going to probably leave it there now. I'm going to do the player ratings and I'm going to be done with this week. Starting from the back, Bayende gets a 5. In fact, Bayende gets a 4. For me, he was horrible in goal today. He didn't do much for me. He's had a couple of shots that he saved that were point blank, but the goals that he should have really made a difference, or the opportunities that he should have made a difference on, he didn't. He gets a 4. Maguire, I'm going to give Maguire a 5. I feel like defensively, for the first goal, I feel like he should have done a lot better, been a lot closer to his man. He didn't really give me any confidence today in the back line as a controller, being the central man. I feel De Ligt is more suited to that role just because he's more agile, he's more mobile. So yeah, Maguire gets a 5 from me. Luke Shaw, I'm going to give him a 5. Attacking wise, he didn't really do much like what he did against Chelsea. So I don't think he deserved more than a 5. De Ligt, I'm going to give De Ligt a 6. Wasn't his best game, but he didn't play horribly. He gave Thiago Igor a run for his money when he had a match-up against him. So I do feel like that was probably a mistake by Amorim. So I'm going to give De Ligt a 6. Going to Dalot on the right side, I'm going to give Dalot a 6. Again, didn't have his best performance today. I felt like it would have been more suited for us to have someone like Mazraoui on the right-hand side, but Mazraoui was injured, so we had to put up with having Dalot on the right-hand side. So yeah, that's a 6 for Dalot. Ugarte, going to give Ugarte a 6. Towards the end of the second half, or towards the middle of the second half, he was lacking legs. Today, he didn't really give me any good feeling when he was in possession, and his eye for a pass, his IQ is just not where it needs to be playing in that role alongside Bruno. Bruno gets a 5 from me today. Probably the lowest I've given Bruno, and I don't want to be seen to give him a 5 again. But overall, he didn't really raise his game today. There was nothing about his game that said leader, from missing a penalty, from just dictating play to having shots on goal. Like, he just didn't do enough of what I expect a skipper to do, especially being in the central midfield and having the quality that he's got and scoring his 100th goal as he did the other day. Dorgu, I'm going to give Dorgu a 6. Always an outlet, constantly running, very aggressive. Didn't get much out of the game today, unfortunately, but I'm going to give him a 6. Cunha gets a 6 from me as well. He started well, but I feel like he tailed off when we conceded the 2 goals. Didn't really see much of him or enough of him throughout the rest of the game. So Cunha gets a 6. Mbeumo, I'm going to give Mbeumo 6 as well. He won us the penalty. Before that, he was busy. Good deliveries into the box. But again, your first time back at Brentford, I was hoping for something a little bit more explosive, but I'm not going to put the onus on him today. I feel like he played as well as he could with the team that he had around him. And last but not least, Šeško. I'm going to give Šeško a 6. In fact, no, I'm going to give Šeško a 5. Reason being, even though he scored today, I still don't feel like he done enough to really give himself or put himself about. I don't feel like he done enough like what Thiago done for Brentford. So I feel like there could have been a lot more. That's the ratings done for me. It's your boy Monts. Peace.